Bonjour les étudiants of class 10. Hope you're doing good. And so today's session will be continuing the exercises of lesson 3, felicitations. Okay, so the last session we were doing the exercises with passé composé, and this session will be doing three exercises with imparfait. Okay, so hope you remember imparfait. It's actually a past tense also, but it is past continuous, okay, to express past habit or something happened in the past for some time, right? So now let's get into the slides, and don't forget to write your classwork and send us a picture. Even if you are in the first lesson, do not worry, do not hesitate. Okay, so just write 1 or 2 exercises a day, right? As I told you, that will change a lot, right? So let's get into the slides. So here we are. Okay, so small recap before we head to the imparfait. So these are the exercises we were saying the last class, right? Mettez les verbes au passé composé. Soumana a déjeuné en ville. Les élèves ont appris le vocabulaire et la conjugaison. Vous avez envoyé un email au directeur. Les étudiants ont obtenu les résultats des examens. Nous avons ouvert les cadeaux. And here the second exercise. Mettez les phrases suivantes au passé composé. Tu as regardé un film à la télé. Vous avez acheté le journal aujourd'hui. Vous avez choisi les plats. Il a quitté son village natal. Ils ont ouvert un bistrot dans ce quartier. Okay, so passé composé, it's actually the auxiliary verb plus the past participle. Okay, so here we go for the third exercise. Faites des phrases en mettant les verbes au passé composé. Les amis ont félicité les jeunes mariés. Il a demandé de téléphoner avant 8 heures. Mes parents ont été très contents de ma réussite à l'examen. Ma mère a fermé les fenêtres à 6 heures du soir. Tu as obtenu une bourse pour faire des études supérieures à Paris. And the fourth exercise, it's répondez à la forme négative. Tu as écrit sur les murs? Non, je n'ai pas écrit sur les murs. Lucien Ambroise a dessiné au tableau? Non, il n'a pas dessiné au tableau. Il a fait une promenade? Non, il n'a pas fait de promenade. Ils ont mangé dans la salle de classe? Non, ils n'ont pas mangé dans la salle de classe. The last one, elles ont donné un cadeau au nouveau marié? Non, elles n'ont pas donné de cadeau au nouveau marié. So, un ou une des changes to the. Okay, don't forget in negation. So here we go. For l'imparfait. Okay, so l'imparfait marque une action continue dans le passé. Okay, so it marks an action which was continuous. Okay, which was continuous in the past. Il exprime également une action qui se répète ou qui est habituelle dans le passé. It also expresses an action which repeats, okay, which repeated, okay, which repeats in the past or which was an habit in the past. Okay, and also one more thing, it's actually for the past description. Okay, so when you are saying like there were a lot of trees in Pondicherry, okay, there was less population, there was less traffic and so on. So it's actually a past description. Okay, so we'll be using imparfait. Okay, even when you're talking about the weather, okay, weather like it was raining the whole day yesterday, for example. Okay, it was raining the whole day yesterday. So it's actually a past continuous thing, right? Okay, it was a past continuous action. It was raining, and so we'll be using imparfait. Okay, most of the time for the weather condition, we'll be using imparfait. And then when you're talking about imparfait, so when you give a meaning, okay, for example, you take the verb je jouais, okay, je jouais, or here an example again, tu travaillais régulièrement. Tu travaillais régulièrement. So this sentence, it's in imparfait. So this means you were working regularly. You were working regularly, or you used to work regularly. Okay, so that's what it means. Okay, you were working regularly or you used to work regularly. Right? And the second one, elle venait au bureau même le week-end. Okay, so elle venait, the verb venir is conjugated here. So she used to come, or she was coming to the office even the weekends. Yeah, so venait, the verb venir, when you conjugate to imperfect, it gives like she used to come or she was coming. Okay, so to the office even the weekend. So now we'll see the formation. So how to conjugate a verb in imparfait. So formation. Okay, formation, how to form. On forme l'imparfait en ajoutant les terminaisons. Okay, we form imparfait by adding the endings. Okay, so as you know, for the er ending verbs in present tense we'll be having the endings. Okay, right? E, es, ee, ons, ez, ent, ent. For same way, like for future sample, you'll be having the ending ai, as, almost similar to the verb avoir. For imperfect, so these are the endings. Okay, so in the very first line it starts at the end in red. So ais for je, ais for tu, ait for third person, il, elle, ions for nous, iez for vous, aient for il, elle, plural. So that's actually the first step. Okay, so you got the endings. So and what you'll be adding, you got to find a radical. Okay, hope you remember future sample. Okay, for future sample you'll be having a radical. Okay, so that's a different radical you got to remember. You got to by heart the radicals, same way like the past participle. But for imperfect, to find the radical, it's quite simple. Okay, so radical, it's nothing but the first half. Okay, the prefix, like au radical de la première personne du pluriel du présent de l'indicatif. So which is, you take the present tense, okay, new form of the present tense, you cut ons. Okay, for most of the verbs this will be the case. You take the present tense new form, okay, of any verb, you cut ons, then you add the endings with it. For example, the verb parler is given. Okay, the infinitive form parler, parler. Then you can see next to it we have given nous parlons, which is in present tense. Okay, je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, nous parlons. Okay, now so nous parlons, you can see the ons in red, you cut ons and also the nous. What we have, it's parl. Okay, so you can see now, je parlais, tu parlais, il parlait, elle parlait, on parlait, nous parlions, vous parliez, il parlait, elle parlait. Yeah, so it's not just for the er ending verbs, it's for all the verbs. Okay, just at it's an exception, just the verb at it's an exception. But for all the other verbs, okay, we'll be taking the new form, we cut ons. With the remaining part we'll be adding the endings. Okay, for example, the verb finir, it's an ir ending verb, so the endings will be is, it, and so on, right? For new form, it's nous finissons will be the ending. So you cut ons, what we have, it's finiss, right? Finiss. So now you add the endings of imperfect. Je finissais, tu finissais, il finissait, elle finissait, on finissait, nous finissions, vous finissiez, il finissait, elle finissait. Right? Okay, so that's it. And so the last verb, it's actually the verb prendre. Okay, so prendre, as you know, it's an exception. Okay, it doesn't come with the re ending form. Okay, it's not a regular re ending. It's je prends, tu prends, il prend, elle prend, and so on. For nous, vous, il, elle, actually it doesn't follow the rule. Okay, so nous prenons. Okay, nous prenons, this will be the spelling in present tense, prenons. You cut ons, what we have, it's pren. Okay, so now it's je prenais, you add the ending, je prenais, tu prenais, il prenait, elle prenait, on prenait, nous prenions, vous preniez, il prenait, elle prenait. Right? So that's it. For no matter what verb, you take the new form in present tense, you cut ons, you add the endings, you got imperfect, the conjugation of imperfect. So as I told you earlier, so the verb être, it's an exception. Okay, so the last I have given you, so the verb être, it's an exception. So we don't, cause for the new form we got SOMMES, right? Okay, for new form we got SOMMES. We don't have ONS, it's a bit odd. So what we'll be doing, it's actually we got to remember it's E accent T, E accent aigu T. It will be the radical. ET will be the radical for the verb être. Okay, so it'll be like j'étais, tu étais, il était, elle était, on était, nous étions, vous étiez, ils étaient, elles étaient. Right? So even the verb avoir. Okay, even the verb avoir, for example, nous avons. Okay, it's not an exception. The normal, like we did parler, finir, prendre. The verb avoir, nous prenons. Nous avons, pardon, nous avons. You cut ONS. You cut ONS. What we have, it's AV. Then you add the endings. J'avais, tu avais, il avait, elle avait, on avait. Nous avions, vous aviez, ils avaient, elles avaient. Yeah. So if you want, you can try the verb faire. Okay, in the notebook in imperfect. You can try the verb faire. Okay, you take the new form of the present tense. You cut ONS. You add these endings and you conjugate. And let's see how many of them send the picture of the verb faire in imperfect. And here, the first exercise with imperfect. In the lesson, it's fifth exercise. The fifth exercise, it's mettez les verbes suivants à l'imparfait. So you can see there are 5 sentences, and in each sentence they have given a verb, okay, an infinitive form in the bracket. So which you got to put it in imperfect, which you got to conjugate in imperfect. Elle. Okay, so elle, the verb mettre is given. Des heures supplémentaires pour terminer son projet à temps. So mettre, which means to put or to place, to put or to place, the verb mettre. So the verb mettre, so you got to first conjugate it to present tense. Nous mettons, METTONS. So you cut ONS, so METT will be there. For al, what will be the ending? For al, for the subject al, what will be the ending? AIT. So you'll be adding METT, then AIT. Elle mettait des heures supplémentaires pour terminer son projet à temps. Which means she used to put, okay, some extra hours. Des heures supplémentaires, which means some extra hours to terminate, to finish the project on time. Son projet à temps, which means to finish the project on time. So the second one, le directeur arrivé au bureau en avance. The verb given in the bracket, it's arriver. So arriver to, which means to arrive or to reach. In some cases, the verb arriver even it means happen. Okay, as an expression, qu'est-ce qui t'est arrivé? Okay, qu'est-ce qui t'est arrivé? Qu'est-ce que vous êtes arrivé? So which means like what happened to you. Okay, here it means like to reach or to arrive. So le directeur arriver. So the verb arriver, nous arrivons. In present tense, nous arrivons. ARRIVONS. You cut ONS. You got ARRIV. Now you got to see the subject, le directeur, the director. We take it for the third person singular masculine. So le directeur arrivé. We'll be using the same ending as the previous one, AIT. Okay, le directeur arrivé. The pronunciation will be the same. Okay, arrivé with ER, EZ, AIS, AIT, AIENT. Okay, so for all these will be the same pronunciation, but when you write, it will be different. Okay, so le directeur arrivé au bureau en avance. ARRIVAIT. Okay, which means the director, the boss, reached the office. Okay, used to reach or was reaching the office on time. Okay, en avance means early. Okay, early. Voilà. So the third one, ils être contents pour moi. The verb être is given in the bracket. So the verb être, we saw the conjugation, hope you remember. So the radical is ET. Okay, ET is the radical. So ils étaient, ET. So E, careful, it's not the accent circonflexe. We'll be using the accent aigu. Okay, ils étaient contents pour moi. Okay, ET, AIENT. Okay, ET, AIENT, contents pour moi. They were happy for me. Okay, so they were happy for me. Voilà. So the last before one. Tu l'as soutenir toute sa vie. Okay, soutenir, the verb is given. Okay, soutenir, which means to support. Okay, to support. Toute sa vie, it means all her life, right? All her life. So the verb soutenir, how you conjugate it, same way like the verb venir. Okay, so you can see it's an ENIR ending verb, ENIR ending verb. So it will be like je soutiens, tu soutiens, nous soutenons. Okay, nous soutenons, SOUTENONS. Okay, nous soutenons. So now you cut ONS, what we have is SOUTEN. Okay, so soutenons, and you cut ONS. So now you'll be adding the ending for the subject tu. Okay, tu soutenais. Okay, tu la soutenais. So it'll be like AIS will be the ending. SOUTENAIS. Toute sa vie. Okay, so the la before the verb soutenir, it's actually a pronoun. It's actually COD, complément d'objet direct. You were supporting her. Okay, you were supporting her all her life. Okay, voilà, so that's what it means. So the last one, vous allez très souvent au cinéma. Okay, the verb aller is given. Nous allons, you cut ONS, ALL. For vous, the ending it's IEZ. Okay, for nous and vous, we don't have A before it. They start with IEZ. Okay, IONS, IEZ. So vous alliez, ALLIEZ, très souvent au cinéma. Okay, you often used to go to the cinema. Okay, so very often you used to go to the cinema. So now we'll see the answers. Careful with the spellings. Here. So mettez les verbes suivants à l'imparfait. Elle mettait des heures supplémentaires pour terminer son projet à temps. Le directeur arrivait au bureau en avance. Ils étaient contents pour moi. Tu la soutenais toute sa vie. Vous alliez très souvent au cinéma. And same way, careful with the spellings. Okay, careful with the spellings of the answers. So that's why I asked you to write with a pencil, using a pencil, the answers alone with a pencil, so that if you got any mistakes, you can correct it easily. And in each and every page, write the lesson's number and the lesson's name. And also put the date of the day when you're writing. Okay. So here the sixth exercise now. Mettez les verbes suivants à l'imparfait. So now the verbs, they are not given in infinitive form. They are given in passé composé. Okay, so they are conjugated in passé composé. So now we'll see. Vous avez regardé un film hier. Okay, so you were watching, okay, you watched, okay, or you saw a movie yesterday. You got to change it like you were seeing a movie yesterday. So now the verb, it's actually regarder. Okay, you got to remove avez regardé, and you got to conjugate the verb regarder in imperfect. So regarder, it's an er ending verb. Nous regardons, you cut ons, regard will be there. Okay, for vous, it's iez. Vous regardiez un film hier. Regardiez, regardiez. So the second one, les enfants ont joué au cricket le weekend. So the children played cricket the weekend. Okay, so you got to change like the kids, the children were playing cricket on weekends. On joué, it's again an er ending verb. So nous jouons. You cut ons, jou will be the radical. You add the ending. For les enfants, the ending it's AIENT, third person plural. Okay, les enfants jouaient au cricket le weekend. Okay, jouer will be spelled like JOUAIENT. JOUAIENT. Les enfants jouaient au cricket le weekend. Okay, so the third one, ton fils a appris à nager en vacances. So your kid, okay, your son learned to swim. Okay, past tense, learned to swim during the vacation. So you got to change like your son was learning to swim during the vacation. So a appris, the verb apprendre is conjugated here. Okay? So apprendre the same way like prendre. Okay? So it will be like APPRENONS. for nous form. Nous apprenons, APPRENONS. You cut ONS, what we have it's APPREN. APPREN. Now you add the ending for ton fils. So it's actually AIT. Okay, AIT will be the ending. So ton fils apprenait. APPREN AIT. Apprenez à nager en vacances. So the last before one. Elle a conduit la voiture très vite. So a conduit. So she drove. Okay, so she drove the car very fast. Conduire, the verb conduire, CONDUIRE, it's actually the infinitive form. And then when you conjugate for nous, it's nous conduisons. Okay, nous conduisons. You cut ONS, what we have is CONDUISS. Okay, CONDUISS. Then you add the ending for L, which is AIT. CONDUISS AIT. La voiture très vite. So the last one, l'enfant a récité le poème plusieurs fois. So the child recited the poem several times. It's an ER ending verb, réciter, to recite. You cut ONS for the new form, nous récitons. What you have, it's RECIT. Okay, RE accent, CIT. Then you add the ending for l'enfant, which is AIT. Okay, for the last three sentences, it will be the same ending. Okay, AIT. L'enfant récitait le poème plusieurs fois. RECIT AIT. Okay, so now we'll see the endings, the answers, pardon. Voilà, so here we go. Vous regardiez un film hier. Les enfants jouaient au cricket le week-end. Ton fils apprenait à nager en vacances. Elle conduisait la voiture très vite. Okay. L'enfant récitait le poème plusieurs fois. Okay. Yeah, careful with the verb conduire. Okay, conduire, CONDUISCIT. Right? Right, so please take note of it. So now the seventh exercise. Yeah. So mettez les verbes au passé composé ou à l'imparfait. Okay, so now we got a situation like you got to choose either passé composé or imparfait. Both are like past tense, right? Both are past tense. So which one is the right one for the situation? That's what you got to find. So the difference between passé composé and imparfait, passé composé, it's actually an action which happened and it got over. Okay, the very minute. Okay, the very minute. Okay, it got over. And imparfait is something like which happened continuously. Okay, so that's what the difference between. Right? So now we'll read the passage once, the seventh exercise. Hier soir, mes parents se promenaient dans le parc. Soudain, ils entendent un bruit bizarre. Ils se tournaient vers la direction du bruit et voir un oiseau qui souffrir de la peine. Immédiatement, il l'apostrophe prendre dans les mains et l'apostrophe emmener chez le vétérinaire. Okay, so we got like 4, 5, 6, 7 verbs. Okay, you got 7 verbs to conjugate. Right? And you got to choose between passé composé and imparfait. Right? So first of all, we'll see the situation, which means like yesterday my parents were walking in the park and suddenly they heard a noise and they saw a bird suffering. Okay, and they took it to the hospital. That's what the thing is. And so now we'll hier soir, mes parents. So se promener dans le parc. So which means you can either use it with passé composé or imparfait. but you got to observe the situation. Okay, so the next actually with a semicolon it continues. Okay, so which means it should be past continuous, and at that time something happened. Okay, so yesterday evening my parents were walking, okay, in the park. Okay, were walking, which means like it is past continuous, right? Okay, past continuous. So we'll be using imparfait ici. Okay, for the first sentence we'll be using imparfait. Se promener. Okay, se promener, which is se will be remaining the same. Okay, that's a reflexive verb, so se will remain the same. Mes parents se promenaient. Oui, so nous promenons, you cut ons, what we have is promen. Then we'll be adding the endings. Okay, aient is the ending. promenaient. Okay, promenaient. Hier soir, mes parents se promenaient dans le parc. My parents were walking in the park. Soudain, suddenly, soudain, il dash un bruit bizarre. Entendre, which means to hear. Okay, to hear. They heard a strange noise. Okay, un bruit bizarre, which means a strange noise. And suddenly, okay, when they say suddenly, we don't say they were hearing. Okay, we don't say they were hearing a strange noise. Okay, it becomes past continuous. Suddenly they heard a strange noise, right? So it is ed form. Here we'll be using passé composé. An action happened that moment. Ils ont entendu. We'll be conjugating the verb entendre with passé composé. The verb entendre, first you got to check with Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. Okay, Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. So with E we got how many verbs? We got just one verb, I guess. Okay, it's entrer. Okay, Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. Yeah, we got one verb which is entrer, not entendre. So we'll be conjugating with avoir. And what is the past participle? Entendre ends with re. So it should be like ending with u. You cut re, you add an u, so you got the past participle. So ils ont entendu. Ils ont entendu. ONT, ENT, ENDU. Un bruit bizarre. They heard a strange noise. And then ils se tournaient vers la direction du bruit. Okay, so here they turned. Okay, they turned. So suddenly when some noise happens, okay, so then what you'll be doing, you'll be turning yourselves, right? You'll be turning towards the direction of the noise. That's what they did even. Ils se tournaient vers la direction du bruit. They turned themselves towards the direction of the noise, towards the noise direction. So even that, they were not turning. Okay, they were not turning. Okay, it's not past continuous. They just turned. Okay, they just turned suddenly as soon as they heard the noise. So we'll be using again passé composé. Ils se sont tournés. Okay, ils se sont tournés. We conjugate the reflexive verbs with passé composé with être, right? Okay, if you got se verbs, reflexive verbs, we'll be conjugating with être and not with avoir. Hope you remember Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams. The last S stands for se verbs. So ils se sont, S-Y-N-T, tourner, T-O-U-R-N-E, accent, and then we'll be adding an S because the subject is plural. Okay, third person plural. So we'll be adding an S. Ils se sont tournés vers la direction du bruit. Et, okay, so they turned towards the direction of the noise. And voir un oiseau qui, okay, and they saw a bird. Okay, we don't say they were seeing a bird. Okay, so it's not continuous. Okay, as soon as they heard the noise, they turned and they saw a bird. Okay, saw a bird, so which is passé composé. Okay, we'll be using past tense, passé composé. Et ont vu. Okay, we still stick with the same subject, ils, ILS. Ils ont, ont. Okay, so vu, the verb voir, the past participle of verb voir, it's vu, view. And it should be conjugated with avoir, not with être. Okay, Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams, the verb venir is there. Okay, not the verb voir. So, et ont vu un oiseau qui souffrir. Okay, qui, it's actually a relative pronoun. They saw a bird who was suffering of pain. De la peine, it means pain. So that was suffering, or which was suffering from pain. So which was suffering, okay, which was suffering, which is past continuous. Okay, so the suffering thing didn't happen for a minute. Okay, so the bird was continuously suffering. Okay, it got hit, and so it was continuously suffering. So here we'll be using imparfait. So nous souffrons, S-O-U-F-F-R-O-N-S. You cut O-N-S and we'll be adding the ending of third person singular, A-I-T. Okay, S-O-U-F-F-R-A-I-T. Souffrez de la peine. Immédiatement, immediately. Il l'ont, l'apostrophe, prendre dans les mains. So immediately what they did, it's a small bird, they took it in the hand. Okay, they took it in the hand. So we don't say they were taking in the hand. Okay, it's not a long process. They just took it in the hand, they took it to the veterinary hospital. So we'll be using passé composé for the last two. Okay, ils l'ont pris. Ils l'ont pris. So, ils l'ont pris dans les mains. The verb prendre will be conjugated with avoir. Okay, because with Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams, it's the verb partir. Okay, Dr. Mrs. Van der Trams, partir and passé will be conjugated with être, not prendre. So, ils l'ont, O-N-T, P-R-I-S. P-R-I-S, it's a past participle. Ils l'ont pris dans les mains. Et l'apostrophe est mené chez le vétérinaire. Okay, vétérinaire. So again we'll be using passé composé. Et l'ont, O-N-T. Okay, O-N-T, and it's an ER ending verb. Okay, so M-N-A, it's an ER ending verb. We don't conjugate with être. We conjugate with avoir, O-N-T. M-N-A, E-M-M-E-N-E accent. Okay, so they took it in the hands, and they, again M-N-A, which means to take. Okay, and they took it to the veterinary hospital. Right? To the veterinary doctor even. So now we'll see the answers here. Hier soir, mes parents se promenaient dans le parc. Soudain, ils ont entendu un bruit bizarre. Ils se sont tournés. Okay, tournés, don't forget that S at the last. Ils se sont tournés vers la direction du bruit et ont vu un oiseau qui souffrait de la peine. Immédiatement, ils l'ont pris dans les mains et l'ont emmené chez le vétérinaire. Oui. So that's it for today. Okay, we just did 3 exercises, but it took a bit long. So please copy it slowly, correctly. Okay, and I'll be waiting for the picture of your exercises. Take care, guys. Bye bye. See ya.